Hi everyone, it's Roger here from the What's on Disney Plus podcast. In this week's episode, we're going to be talking all of this week's news that's come out from the Television Critics Association. We're going to be talking about loads of trailers. There's been loads of stuff talking about Andor, She-Hulk, and lots of other things. Now, this week, I'm joined by Jeremy rather than James. He's got a massive problem with his internet, so he hasn't been able to join us today. So Jeremy actually writes a number of reviews for us. He does columns, and he's also done some podcasts and stuff in the past. So I've brought him in to be the co-host today. So hello, Jeremy.
Hello.
Hello. Right. Well, let's just jump into it. Let's start off. There has been a lot of news this week. Just really with Television's Critics Association. But let's start off with the big one. She-Hulk first off. We've got that's going to be now shifting from Thursday over from Wednesday. So rather than just having the Wednesday releases, it'll be coming a day later on the 18th of August. New releases every Thursday afterwards. Now, I personally think this is a great news because we saw with Miss Marvel that it really struggled going up against Obi-Wan Kenobi and maybe some of the other shows as well. So they've kind of given this one a little bit more room. It's going to have its own day. Say own day here internationally. It's going to have to share it with the Kardashians at the end of the month. But generally, I feel like this is a good move for a couple of reasons. Not only that, not only is there a competition from Star Wars, but we've also got the new Game of Thrones series and the Lord of the Rings series dropping day after day. So it's like we've got like 4 or 5 big shows dropping every single week, right through like sort of September. So there's a lot of competition. But what did you think of them moving it over to Thursdays?
I think it's a great idea to move it over because, especially in September when Andor shows up as well, you're going to have the possibility of the same problem Miss Marvel and Obi-Wan had. So I do think it's a great idea. I would advocate that maybe for their 4 pillars, they should do one per day. Like do like Marvel Mondays and Star Wars Wednesdays, and Disney and Pixar get their own day and stuff, and then general entertainment, will sort out that stuff. But
Yeah.
because a lot of things can get lost in the shuffle when everything's the same day.
I mean, for us here in the UK, I mean, we actually are we've got kind of used to having multiple shows. I mean, I think in September, I think we're going to end up with like the LA Lakers show on the Monday. We're going to have, I think it might be The Patient is dropping on Tuesdays. We're going to have, I mean, we've recently had Only Murders in the Building dropping on Tuesdays. Wednesdays, obviously, the normal release day. Thursdays, we've been getting like the Orville and the Kardashians. Even on Mondays here in the UK, we were getting The Walking Dead, and then obviously with Fridays and stuff. So, and in Canada, they were also getting like all the adult animation, like Family Guy and American Dad, were dropping on Sundays. So they've seen already that they've been doing this experiment, and personally, I love it because it's so nice. Like on a Tuesday, oh, I've got a new episode, or a Thursday, rather than everything just being thrown in on the Wednesday. And I know myself with Obi-Wan and Miss Marvel that I was picking Kenobi first because it's just like, well, I like that show a bit more. And I think, and I was watching Miss Marvel the following day because I kind of got out of that thing of watching it first thing. And like, oh, well, and and if there was any, and there wasn't really a lot of spoilers because there doesn't look like as many people were watching it, but I'm really hoping this gives She-Hulk a much bigger platform to have her own day to kind of get people in on Disney Plus.
Yeah, absolutely. I would, I'm excited for what She-Hulk can bring, but it's, and I wish the United States had that problem of hey, we got so many things here that we're always going to be doubling up, and
well, I mean,
Hulu
I was
thing
going to
works
say,
out, I think
as well, like Dancing with the Stars kicks off on the Monday from the 19th of September. So you're going to have, you're going to have at least 4 days of the week now with stuff dropping from like September onwards, which is good.
I mean, I'm not necessarily looking forward for Dancing with the Stars, but I'm looking forward to every day new stuff dropping.
Mm. Tying in with She-Hulk, they've also announced that Andor, the new Star Wars series, has been delayed. It is now going to be launching on the 21st of September. We're going to be getting 3 episodes at once, and obviously new episodes dropping Wednesday. So that's what, in a couple of ways, that's really helped give She-Hulk now almost like a month to herself on Disney Plus to kind of get the audience in. But also, moving, as I say, that's going to be on a Wednesday. But it was going to be a really, really busy, packed week when it was originally supposed to come out because, as I said, the Game of Thrones and the Lord of the Rings shows were dropping that same week. I think giving everyone a little bit of space, because sometimes the competition, you have to kind of, if you're going to lose, you might as well bow out. We saw Obi-Wan Kenobi try and take on Stranger Things over the was it the Memorial weekend.
Yeah.
You know, and they did all right, but obviously it was going to get completely slaughtered, so it made sense to kind of shift it away a bit.
Yeah, absolutely. It makes all the sense in the world to shift it. Especially the Andor story always kind of feels a little weird because we know where that one has to end, and so it's kind of odd trying to figure out how you're building up him. But
Yeah.
but yeah, especially because 2 episode seasons, they're really going all out for this one,
Yeah.
and I feel like it's an odd one to choose to go all out on. But I'm not complaining.
I think it's more the fact that story, that era is, it's a bit gritty and just telling it from the Rebels' point of view. I'm really looking forward to it. The fact that they have sent out some of these episodes to people a little bit early. I think the embargo and everything got shifted back a little bit. That says to me that they were they're excited about it. The fact they're giving us 3 episodes also will allow us to get our teeth into it. So you can kind of get going and stuff. So I'm really looking forward to the series. I am actually, in some ways, I think that worked a little bit better with shifting it back a little bit. It means the finale is literally going to drop on the Thanksgiving weekend, and the following week Willow will then be starting. So it's like not having the big gaps between the series. I don't, like with the Obi-Wan Kenobi could have been a couple of weeks earlier. Maybe Miss Marvel could have been a week or 2 later, and it would have just spread everything out a little bit more. So I'm happy with these moves.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm looking forward to it. I'm happy to have something going through Thanksgiving, and then you can transition right into another Lucasfilm project with Willow there, and it's the thing I'm most excited for about it is if they have 2 12-episode seasons. Hopefully in season 2, Alan Tudyk will not be so busy, and we can get some K2SO in that.
Well, I suspect that the second season, because they're going to be doing it in 3-episode chunks. So it's got the first year is the first season, and then they're going to be doing a year every 3 episodes and doing it. So it's kind of going to lots of little mini seasons in that next one. So it should be interesting to see how all of that works out with Andor.
Yeah.
So let's now shift over to Disney Plus Day, which is taking place on September the 8th. Which is happening just before the D23 Expo, which happens from the 9th to the 11th in Anaheim, California. So on Disney Plus Day, we've got a few more new releases. So now we know that we're going to be getting The Epic Adventures with Bertie Gregory, which is a brand new National Geographic series where Bertie travels around the world taking some amazing footage. I really like the trailer for this one. This is the one that was like, oh, I really like this one. This one spoke to me.
And when I was watching the trailer, I was like, I'm really looking forward to that one. Which when I first saw it, I was like, okay, what's this? And then when I watched the trailer, I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm on board, because I love seeing the beautiful scenes of this planet from the documentaries. And National Geographic certainly does them in a way that captures my attention more than Disney Nature does. So
and it's almost like they take 10 minutes at the end of when the BBC do their Planet Earth and stuff, and turn it into the whole series and spread it out. I for me that one's going to be, I think, one of the ones I'm looking forward to quite a bit. We're also getting Growing Up, which is a brand new series where each episode takes a look at a certain person and their lifestyle and their life story. I'm going to be honest, the trailer for me just left me lukewarm. This is a show that I'll be honest, if it wasn't for the podcast, I wouldn't watch it. I'll be honest, it just wasn't. It's not for me. Maybe younger ones might find inspiration stuff from it, but for me, it's just I'm just not interested.
It kind of reminded me of an older version of Marvel Hero Project or Encore from the beginning, where they're putting the focus on a certain aspect of people's lives and build them up. It's those were both fine. I enjoyed them when we had nothing else to watch, but I'm not rushing back to either one of those, and I'm probably not going to be rushing to this. But I hope for the people who do enjoy those types of shows that they end up, really liking this.
Yeah, so that one there. We're also getting Cars on the Road, a brand new series of 9 shorts featuring Lightning McQueen and Mater, and they're going to be traveling across the US, meeting all kinds of different characters along the way. Again, it's going to be a series of shorts. This list looks a lot of fun, but I'm a big Cars fan. I'll be honest. I don't get the hate for Cars. I like it.
I don't get the hate for Cars either. I love Cars. Cars is my favorite Pixar film. So I'm really excited for this series. Now, granted, Cars 2 is my second least favorite, but uh, that's the my dad grew up in Missouri, in the center of the United States, and it's not a far drive to Route 66, which is kind of what where which was the original road connecting the east and western United States, where it had all of these small towns. So I've driven on it in Missouri and Oklahoma. So I saw the actual small towns in the United States that are like Radiator Springs. So I had a nostalgic connection to cars that people around the world are not going to have.
No.
So,
I mean, like I will put myself in the same thing. I did a trip where we went from like New York to LA across the northern states, and then then on the same trip we then did the back trip and then along the southern states. So we did like 7 weeks camping across the whole US, and we did kind of cut on and off the Route 66. So again, this series and all the Cars franchise, I kind of like that aspect. I've seen it again, like you. I can kind of connect with it a little bit more. I'm so looking forward to seeing Cars Land for the first time over the D23 weekend. That's like one of the main things. Like I want to go see, because it's like, yeah, I love cars. So I'm really looking for. This is the one. Like, yeah, no, that's what I'm really looking forward to watching for Disney Plus Day.
Yeah, when I sat down to watch the trailer, my wife was watching a few of them with me, and she's like, "There's a new Cars thing." Yes.
Yeah, no, I love Cars. I think that one's gonna be pretty cool. We're also gonna be getting there's a new international series, Wedding Series season, which is a British show. We're gonna be getting that internationally. I think it's gonna be on Hulu in the United States. We're also gonna be getting a new Latin American series, and I'm not even gonna try and attempt to butcher the name of that one there. So we're getting a Latin American series. We're also going to be getting Pinocchio on that day, and I'm guessing we're probably going to end up with For Love and Thunder. That I think that wouldn't be a huge miss to see if that one drops on that day, but that one hasn't been confirmed yet. But I think they might give that one that extra boost for that day. Moving on from there, it was also announced, as I said, with Dancing with the Stars is dropping on in the US and Canada only, live every Monday. So it's moving over from ABC. As a Strictly Come Dancing fan, I watch it every year with my wife. This is it's one of the biggest shows in the UK. Won't be available internationally by the looks of it, because of the BBC obviously don't want us watching the American version. They want us to watch the British version, which is literally getting ready to start up as well. So it's kind of weird, because I look at this, like, to me, like if this happened in the UK, this would be a massive news. This would be huge to move one of the biggest shows of the year onto Disney Plus. So I'm looking forward to watching that one and seeing how this one all works, because I like Len and Bruno. They've been on the UK one for years, or since it started. So I'm used to the whole format of. So I'm looking forward to that one myself. Yeah.
It's been a while since I've watched it. I appreciate all of the hard work that all of these celebrities, or pseudo celebrities in some cases, put into it to actually try to do well. And I've seen clips since then. It's certainly it's a lot of hard work on their part. It's a lot of hard work on the dancers' part. I can appreciate it. I bet you if I sat down and watched it, I would enjoy myself. But it's never been, well, it's been a long time since it's been one that I really watched. I mean, I think Stacy Keibler was on it the last time I watched it regularly, and that was 2007 or something.
Yeah, see, that's the thing, is because I'm not really aware of when I mean, to be honest, I'd be hard pressed to tell you when a British one, because there's so many celebrities turn up on it. But yeah, I always knew when the WWE ones were on there, because obviously it would be crossed over on the WWE, so I would know like when the Miz or anyone was on there. Shifting from that one there, let's now talk about September the 21st, which is obviously when Andor drops. We're also going to be getting a new National Geographic series, Supernatural. So this one is Benedict Cumberbatch is going to be doing the narration for this one, and it's basically all about animals having, they do, like, it's not really superpowers, but they have unique abilities and showing us what the new unique abilities are, which great. The trailer looks good. A show that probably would be best to watch in bits rather than binging it, because it'll be a bit heavy. But yeah, no, it looks good to me. This is going to be, they'll be on my watch list for probably for like September and October, to kind of drift on and off when there's something else not on.
It sounds excellent. Benedict Cumberbatch is definitely somebody that can grab your attention. Hopefully he doesn't have to say penguin, given his previous problems with that word. But
Yeah. So
I'm
yeah.
I mean, I'm deaf. I love documentaries. I love nature documentaries. Says not as robust as the sharks that they gave us in July, but
Are you bored of watching any shark? Because I know you've been doing loads of reviews. How are you getting on with all those shark fest? Ready for
I'm
them?
not reviewing anymore in August. That was strictly for July. I did not review every one I watched. I
Yeah.
literally only reviewed the ones I could actually sit all the way through. Some are great. Some
Yeah.
are great. Some are terrible.
It's that kind of thing to me. It's like I love a good shark documentary. I love sharks. Um, any opportunity I can, to see them, to scuba dive with them. I've done shark dives and stuff. So I love sharks, and I love them. But there was a kind of thing of like, do we need 30 documentaries in 30 days? That seems a lot. And unfortunately, internationally, it's a little bit messy with the release schedule. We're not getting all of them because they're still putting stuff on that Geo and stuff. But yeah, I think it's good that they do it, but I do feel like why are you doing a month of it? Surely just a week with do we need that many shark documentaries at once? It just seems quite overkill. It in some ways is like you're making so much that people aren't watching all of it because there's just too much similar.
Yeah, and especially once general content, doesn't matter in the internationally, but in the U.S. with general content, maybe there are a lot of shark movies that Disney might have owned, or they might own, or might own in the future. They should put on there, or even something like Finding Nemo, where sharks are an important part of the plot. Put that as a focus for Shark Fest.
Yeah, it's I like it, but I think it needs some tweaking a little bit. Also, it was announced that we're on September the 28th. We're going to be getting the second season of the Mighty Ducks Game Changers. This time it's going to be shifting up and moving to a summer camp. Emilio Estevez is out, and now we're going to be bringing in Josh Duhamel, who you might know from the Transformers films. It kind of feels a little bit like I feel like Disney went, guys, we can't film indoors with lots of people. What should we do? Well, we'll go set everything outside in summer camps. And between this and High School Musical, I think it works better because they know they can. And I think like Doogie Kamealoha kind of had that thing as well, where everything was filmed outside. Perfectly good. I think you just notice it because it's so obvious of what they're doing. It's a workaround. They had to do it. But for me, more Mighty Ducks. I'll be honest. The first season I enjoyed the first few episodes, and then it just kind of went downhill quite quickly. What about you?
I mean, Mighty Ducks was one of my favorite films when I was a kid. As for the first season, I was able to take into account that they're targeting a younger audience than me, and was able to enjoy my son watching some of it. So that's good. I'm not exactly sure if they're trying to do outdoors and do a summer camp for ice hockey.
Yes.
So that's the thing. And then also losing Emilio Estevez hurts because he was the true connection to the original series of films. I mean, Josh Duhamel, I'm sure, will do a perfectly fine job in the role. But I feel like if you're losing Emilio Estevez, maybe they should have seen if they could get one of the kids who showed up, or see what Joshua Jackson's doing. Yeah. He was kind of the main kid. So see if he could pop in for a little bit.
Yeah, it's funny for me because I don't have any nostalgia for that series at all. It was like because I think we watched it for one of our reviews, and I was just like, I've never seen this before. So no, I don't have the nostalgia for the Mighty Ducks. The series, it's cool. I'll give it another whirl. See where it goes. I just hope it's improved a little bit more in terms of its storytelling, where it's not. I don't know if it's just COVID just really just destroyed season one, and it just kind of. They didn't adapt quick enough, or it seems to be the common thing with a lot of the Disney Plus series where they start out strong, they then wobble in the middle too long because they go, we've got loads of episodes and as much as we like, and then they go, oh no, we're gonna need to wrap it up.
Yeah, I think that's the problem with the American form of television in general is that they get greenlit for way too many episodes, or they get greenlit for too few episodes, and then nobody's just like, hey, let's see what we've got, and then just determine the number there.
Yeah. It's like you say, right, we got the script, and we need a little bit more here, we need a little bit more. Oh, we in there. No, just do a longer episode if you need to, because it's not a problem with adverts and stuff. Okay, so there was also some other news from the Just realised that was Facebook. That's to get you in. We've also got a second season of Turning the Tables, which is going to be returning for another season, which I wasn't a huge fan of the first one. I didn't really know any of the people in it. It seemed like an odd choice for Disney Plus because it was so unlike anything else on Disney Plus at the time. Hopefully, as they add more general activity, we've not really got a lot of this realities like unscripted stuff. But it's glad it's coming back for people that enjoyed it. But did you watch it?
No, I completely forgot Turning the Tables was even on Disney Plus, so I have not seen the first season. So I'm clearly not excited for the second season. I'm in the same boat as you are. I hope the people that did watch it, that are going to get a second season, enjoy it, because I want everybody to enjoy this because I enjoy the service. So more for everybody is the best thing.
Yeah, so that was going to be pretty cool. So there was also some other things. I'm going to quickly just run through some of the other shows. This is more for this is from the Hulu and FX and was it the Octave Collective? So FX has ordered a new series called The Veil, which is going to be like two women traveling across a number of different countries, including Istanbul, Paris, and London. One of them has a secret. The other one has to reveal it before thousands of lives are lost. So that one there sounds very interesting from FX. We're also going to be getting a number of series, as I said, from the Octave. I can't really Oxide Collective. Can't work out how they pronounce it. So we're going to get a couple of new shows, including Ring of Fire. There's also going to be the untitled Swizz Blitz project, along with Searching for Soul Food. We're also going to be getting Reasonable Doubt. Will be dropping at the end of September, which is a brand new drama series. It's already been confirmed for Canada, so I expect that will be dropping everywhere else. We're also getting some new episodes of the Hair Tales, which is a documentary series about basically Black women and their socialite and historical themes, and looking for the complex of black hair, which I think, and that one's going to be also debuting on the OWN network in the US, and that one has been confirmed for a Disney Plus original series outside there. And then also we've got a couple of series for Hulu, including Devil in the White City, which is going to star Keanu Reeves and the other black girl. Plus, there's going to be Planet Sex with Cara Delevingne, and we're going to be seeing the Emilio Show season 2 coming back, along with Tell Me Lies, which is a new drama series as well, which has also been confirmed for Canada for Disney Plus. Lots of stuff there. You'll find all the information over at What's on Disney Plus. I don't want to, because they're all. It's hard sometimes. I mean, most of these shows are going to end up being Star originals, but yeah, lots of stuff coming out of the TCA. Now let's talk about something that's a little bit away from Disney Plus today. So obviously this week there's been a lot of discussion about streaming because of what's been going on with Warner Brothers Discovery, because they cancelled the Batgirl movie. They then had a big announcement with their quarterly results, where they announced that Discovery Plus and HBO Max are going to be kind of closed down but merged together, and they're going to create a brand new one with all of it in together. Warner Brothers Discovery are no longer going to be doing straight to streaming movies. Everything's going to be theatrical for them. They're going to be putting their content out on linear streaming. There is no more, they're not going to be planning on doing an exclusive streaming. They want to. I did like one of the executives who said, "We want to get paid." just along the lines of, okay, you guys are being quite simply, they will sell content to other platforms, like Abbott Elementary has been sold to Disney, and they're now done a deal to share it. Ted Lasso is made by Warner Brothers, and they've sold it. If it makes sense for them to make money from it, they will sell it. And just in general, there was a real consensus of them going, look, streaming is not working. Netflix has shown that just throwing money at exclusive content isn't going to work. We want to do theatrical. We want to do linear. We want to sell stuff on, secondary market, like iTunes and like videos and stuff. We want to sell stuff for Windows. Like, they are going kind of a little bit more old school in the idea of going, we want to make the content. We're going to put out on everything. But the idea of putting everything on streaming and focusing on that as the one key thing is no longer a thing for Warner Brothers. What did you think of all the news that came out of Warner Brothers this week?
Well, I think the happiest guy in Hollywood is going to be Bob Chapek, just because it got the attention off of him for a little bit. But says it. the initial backlash, I think, is obviously going to negatively affect them. But I kind of agree with some of the stuff that they said. If you put all of your eggs in one basket and that fails, then you're out a lot of money. But if you spread it out and your theatrical stuff succeeds and the stuff you sell succeeds, even if even if your streaming service struggles, you'll find a way to at least stay above water. So it makes business sense what they're doing. How they went about announcing it probably wasn't the best way, but and especially with the Batgirl thing,
Yeah,
because since that was supposed to, I mean, they got the directors from Ms. Marvel in to direct that film, and that was supposed to be Michael Keaton's return to Batman before the Flash movie, which
I
that's
think it
already
was.
had enough negative press.
I think it was actually supposed to come after the Flash, and because it's all a bit higgledy piggledy. Because there's a whole other thing with the DC side, because they want to make like a new 10-year plan to follow what Marvel have been doing. They need to get new people in. They want to focus on quality. They didn't think Batgirl was good enough quality,
But
and
it wasn't even done, so how would they know?
It's.
They weren't done with post production.
Yeah, I think the simple thing is they were able to they put the entire thing down as a write off, and they didn't want to spend another $20-30 million on the project. It just, in their eyes, it just wasn't good enough, and it's difficult.
Yeah, I think in taxes more than anything else. It says the quality may not have been there. DC has given us reason to doubt them on a lot of things, but I think it was they're not even done with post production, and I think they'd had one like minor screening of what they had, so it was far too soon to say it was a lost cause. But I think they figured out that they could come out ahead if they just didn't release it.
Yeah, I mean, I think the whole thing with DC. I mean, I'm a big fan of DC. I like Batman, Spider-Man. Sorry, Batman, Superman, all the rest of it. I've literally got my Superman. He's literally right here staring at me. So I love my DC stuff just as much as Marvel. But the movies have struggled. The TV series as well have just kind of floundered, and they went too long. But they've all kind of been. So I'm looking forward to a new DC, and I think a good DC means a better competition for Marvel. And that will improve Marvel's content. So that's things like The Boys, all of this stuff is going to make Marvel have to be better. So it's good. So that's the way I look at it. Competition does that.
Definitely. Good DC means, especially if you're a superhero fan, good DC and means better means a reason for Marvel not to become complacent. To use your WWE thing, there's a reason why the best time in wrestling was when WCW was also good. And then there's a reason why people stopped watching after WCW went out of business, because WWE had no competition and they rested on their laurels, and they put out for wrestling fans, they put out some quality stuff, but not what people had been used to, with two companies actually trying to outdo each other. So in the same sense with Marvel and DC, a good DC is good for everything around.
Yeah.
They've done pretty well with some of their, like I said, with The Boys and some of their TV shows that have been sent straight to streaming. Some of their stuff that was sent to like the CW has its moments. I like the early seasons of Arrow. I liked the early seasons of The Flash. I actually liked Legends of Tomorrow about seasons 2 or 3, if you can get through that from the first season.
That was a season for me that killed the CW, like the Arrowverse. I think I got to the point as well where I think my wife turned to me and was like, how many shows is a week? Because we were watching like Flash, Arrow, Supergirl, and Legends of Tomorrow. And it was like, yeah, this is too much a week. And I think I just got bored, and that was the end of it. And I started falling back because she didn't want to watch it, and I never kind of recouped a bit. It was just too much.
Yeah. 4 nights a week of superhero stuff is too much. There's no doubt about it. And then, that's where people started falling off. And then Batwoman pretty much killed it. They've been able to they kept their shows on. I think they got Superman and Lois now. Arrow's done, and Legends of Tomorrow's done, Supergirl's done. So it's just like that and Flash, which they said is ending. So,
I have watched a few episodes. I've watched a few episodes of Lois and Clark. Or whatever the new one is.
Superman. I watched
Yeah.
all of Lois and Clark in the 90s.
So did I. I loved them when I was a kid. But I didn't quite like it. It was that kind of thing. Like, why have we got kids? And I didn't like. It was like, no, this wasn't for me. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to seeing them. But I think from like the streaming point of view, I mean, this is going to put Disney under a little bit more pressure. In terms of having a streaming service, which we are expecting at some point, they are actually going to pull the trigger on that general entertainment in the US, and kind of, I think that, hopefully we find out about the ads tier and what they're going to do with general entertainment. I'm hoping it's next week, because we've got a quarterly shareholders meeting this week, and it's not a D23 announcement kind of thing. I know it would seem like a big thing, but it's not something you can really stand there in front of an audience and go, this is what we're going to do, and this is the price, and the price is going up, and we've got an ad tier, and I don't think it's that. The audience at D23 might not be the right place for it. This is more of a shareholder stock price kind of thing that they're going to be more focused on.
Yeah, and an ad tier can only help just because if it's cheaper for an ad tier, that opens it up to people who might not be able to afford the main price right now, especially with global inflation and plenty of other issues depending on what country you're in. So
yeah, I actually think it's really a time for Disney to put this ad tier in. Discovery, their new I'm going to call it HBO Plus. They are going to have ad free, ad light, and an ad, basically a free version, which is kind of being called like Fast, which is
kind of like Peacock.
Yeah, I think we're gonna, and I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if like Hulu become a version of that, or they do something along those lines where you just get a lot more adverts, so they still make money off of you. I see where, like, I think Disney could do this with a lot of their stuff. I think like the National Geographic stuff. So say like we were talking about, Bertie Gregory and Supernatural. Why not put them on National Geographic Channel? I mean, there's no reason why not to. And if you're a cable subscriber, you might not have Disney Plus. So therefore, you hit into audiences, you're getting money off the revenue from that on there. Maybe it doesn't have to be at the same time, but also there's another series starting up, and I've completely forgotten the name of it. And it's going to be launching on like National Geographic on like the Monday. On the Wednesday, you're getting the whole season at once, and then new episodes are still dropping. They've done the same with Bear Grylls lately. To me, it's like, why not use National Geographic? Why not spread that content? It doesn't need to be exclusive for National Geographic. Same thing like with the ABC shows, something like Big Sky or Only Murders in the Building. Why not put that out on ABC at the same time and make money? It doesn't, and it's like,
I know why they can't do Only Murders in the Building on ABC. It's a language issue in the US.
Oh yeah, because we have a watershed, so like after 9 o'clock in the evening, you can swear and do whatever you want on television.
Ours, we have something similar on cable. On network, you can't. So they couldn't do it on ABC anyway. But since and they wouldn't want to do that on Freeform. So I'm just trying to think of.
They could maybe put it on FX, maybe.
Well, yeah, but while they get the content from FX, I think the actual FX network is still owned by Fox, isn't it?
No, I think it's still.
Okay. Because I knew there was some weird stuff with the merger where Fox kept the news and the main one and sports, but if they could do FX because that's where Sons of Anarchy was, and you can say certain words over here after a certain time, but
sugar and fudge.
Yeah, well, you can't say fudge after a certain time. Well, time over here at all. That one is not allowed. According to the FCC, even on cable, so even on basic cable.
I suppose it's that kind of thing again. Of like, why not use? I do think he's right. David Zaslav is right in kind of. They don't need to have to be exclusive. They don't, you can use your content and you can make money from it in different ways. You could sell a season. You could sell Miss Marvel on Blu-ray and on digital. I could see you go, well, we're going to put it on like a month or, maybe 6 months later. Why not use it? I mean, I think like on ABC, like if you imagine this winter, if they turned around and go, right, we're going to do the Mandalorian season 1 and WandaVision over the New Year period on ABC. It would be a huge draw and bring in lots of money.
Oh, yeah.
I know they want to get people to sign up for Disney Plus, but I think they're at a point now where they're going, look, that's just subscribers aren't the only thing that we're after. Right. We need money from ads. for everywhere.
Yeah.
And especially in the next 2 years, they're just going to be like, we want the money. Bring us the money.
Multiple streams of income are necessary. So.
And I think theatrical, I think, is a good way. I think Prey is a prime example. I think with Prey, there might have been the issue of they didn't want to give it to HBO and have all of that for a while. That's why they've been doing some of these things. But Prey would have been fantastic in the cinema. It's a really good movie. If you put that out and it pulled in, even if it only, it doesn't need a massive marketing campaign. They can cut back their costs that way. Brings in 50, 100, 200 million. Great. It just offsets the cost, and then you put it on, and more people are aware of it because it's been in cinemas. But then also, it's like Chippendale Rescue Rangers. I think could have been done all right. It might have done. It wouldn't have done. It would have been, it's a big box office drop. Well, no, because it's a cheap movie. It doesn't need to make as much. Not okay.
That one probably be best on Disney Channel, actually.
Yeah, well, I think. Yeah, well, I mean, the thing is, it's like something like Not Okay got recently released on Hulu and Disney Plus internationally. So that could have made some money. These movies could have made a little bit of money. But if they're only if the budgets are so much smaller, they can afford to. They don't have to make. If they make 100, 200 million, they might make a $50 million profit on some of this stuff.
Yeah.
It's. I actually agree with that, and I don't know if having. It's like we look at the Gray Man. I mean, that was like $200+ million on a straight streaming movie. I fell asleep. I'm not joking. My wife said, "Did you enjoy that movie?" Yeah, it was all right. She goes, "Were you snoring for some of it?"
Says, I found it very refreshing. I fell asleep. Best nap I've had in 3 weeks.
So it's that kind of weird thing, I think, of just I don't think he's wrong in how this works. I think the idea of and you can see the Wall Street and the corporations are going, Netflix's system wasn't the be all and end all, and they've been following different methods and stuff, and they've been saying about but COVID kind of threw them a big curveball and sent them all off in wrong directions. And but yes, it's just been it was kind of like listening to it going, I wonder how much of this Disney are going to kind of look at, because I know Warner Brothers has also said movies are no longer going straight to HBO Max after 45 days, which Disney haven't actually ever said that movies will go to Disney Plus after 45 days. It's their choice of what they do. They can extend it, they can drop it back, they can do what they want. They don't have a dedicated guaranteed date. We're seeing it. I mean, I think with Lightyear it made sense, but I don't think there's a problem with go to if you need to go to 60 days, 70 days. The days of us waiting 9 months or longer on that will never happen. But there is that kind of thing. You're kind of getting rid of it a little bit too early in some ways.
Yeah, and then we saw with Spider-Man that it was still going and going and going. So I think the 45-day window is just that's a minimum thing for theaters, and then you go I agree. Lightyear made complete total sense given the lukewarm reviews of Thor: Love and Thunder. I expect it pretty quickly. Probably Disney Plus Day, big drop, as you were saying earlier. But
I think even that would be about 60+ days. Is a little
that'd
bit.
Be about 60 instead of 45, but still a lot. Not 9 months. But and then some others like Shang-Chi was doing so well. You probably could have extended that one in theaters and then pushed it out.
I think Shang-Chi was it was because that dropped on Disney Plus Day last year. So that one had, I think it was about 2 months in the cinema. I mean, you look at Top Gun Maverick. I mean, that movie has just kept going and going and going and going. And it was that kind of thing. Well, if it's still making money, then why would we want to cut it off? It makes sense to, call an audible, do it. It's me using a sports term, and kind of this kind of thing. Of
not only that, an American sports term.
I say stuff sometimes. My wife looks at me and goes, "What did you just say?" Because she's like this is like an American expression or so. She got no idea what I'm talking about. But yes, it is that kind of thing of play it by ear. And I think Zaslav is right in doing that. And I think there is some things that what they're doing makes sense. Do we need it's like Pinocchio? Is Pinocchio on a Disney Plus Day, is it going to bring in more subscribers, or is it just or would it have made just as much? I mean, we see it with the Nelson chart. Like Doctor Strange had just as much success after a short run, and Encanto had massive success, even though it made 200 million at the box office, and then was a massive hit on Disney Plus. Turning Red might have done something maybe a little bit similar. It's almost like the streaming numbers don't really go up much more if it's original or if it's been theatrical.
Yeah, and I'm expecting Lightyear to do very well in streaming, despite some of the backlash from differing reasons for Lightyear from some people who push a woke agenda, which I apparently acknowledging gay people as woke or something. I don't know.
Have you watched Lightyear yet?
I have not watched it. My wife and I are planning on watching it this weekend with our son. We just had he just had his second round of COVID. So this week, so he's been isolated in his room. So
just sliding ham under the door to him. Is that?
Yeah, I mean, it's not as bad. He's vaccinated this time. So like last time he got so dehydrated, we had to take him to the hospital to get an IV because it was before his age group could get vaccinated. This time he's like, I'm fine, but he's just got this bad cough. And, he every once in a while he feels like he's got a fever, like his body's really hot, but when we check, it doesn't have one. So, but it's mostly he's been, like I said, he's been in his room, he's been on his iPad, pretty much 24/7, which not thrilled about, but at the same time, it's like, hey, he doesn't have to, he's not missing school right now.
Yeah. So it's a good time. I know when I lost my sense of smell and taste for like a few days. It wasn't nice. But yeah, so I mean, I enjoyed I might watch it again with my wife because she's not seen it because I went to like a special London premiere for it. So I saw it in a big theater. I actually do want to watch it again because there was so many kids making so much noise. It was the most loudest. I've never been to a cinema so packed for probably since like Jurassic Park. It was like what do we ever go? Can I watch this on Disney Plus? It's too noisy. So I am looking forward to watching it again. It wasn't like a top priority for me to watch this when it dropped on Wednesday. I thought I'll wait to the weekend, but yeah, so that one's there. But generally, I think as a whole, I think with what's going on with HBO Max and Discovery Plus, and what's going on with people, I think they will be watching. The stock price didn't like it. I mean, the stock's dropped a lot because of what they've been doing. I think some of the stuff he says is right, but he's been he's got a very different style to him. I think he's a New Yorker, or he's a much tougher. When you hear him, when I was listening to the quarterly report, I was like, whoa, he isn't holding. It was like there was this one thing, like I said, it was like, we want to get paid. I was like, he's not pulling any blushes. Like he wants to make money, and he basically said sending films to streaming doesn't make them money. And I think also HBO even had that whole year last year, weren't they, where they were sending all their movies to it.
Yeah.
And they've got the data to go, well, we didn't actually get any more. They didn't make us any money. We lost millions.
They probably only got some subscribers for like a very few ones. And there's no, how many of those subscribers stuck around past the first month is question. I would figure. I mean, I actually subscribed to check out the Wonder Woman sequel, and then I wish I hadn't.
I've got mine recorded. I recorded it on Sky Cinema a while ago, and I still haven't got around to watching it. It's just sat there like ready to.
I love the first Wonder Woman. I hate the second Wonder Woman.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens, and it does have ripple effects. What happens in one streaming service, what's happening with one company, and I do think Warner Bros. Discovery is really going to be like trying to hit Disney. They know what they want to do, and they want to be hitting them. So yeah, it's going to be it definitely took the pressure off, I think, Chapek this week. He's not the only CEO that everyone hates. Okay, so before we go into any more of this week's reviews, let's do a quick bit of housekeeping. Big thank you to all of our Patreon supporters and YouTube channel members. So big thank you to all of that. It starts from as little as $2 a month, and it helps pay towards all of our bills. So we're not relying on sort of advertising revenues and stuff like that, so it really does help. So big thank you to Paul, Daniel, Elliot, Aero, Caleb, Red Marsman, Cody, Chris, Jacob. We've also got Darren, Lauren, the Juice, and Andrew. Big thank you also to Sarah. Thank you so much for your continued support. And also big hello to Carlton, Manmoud, Raphael, Adam, Dana, Ricky, Dave, My VCR Still Works, Bina, Joshua, Dawn, Martin, Jeremy, and Sarah. Thank you so much for your continued support. So let's talk now about what we've been watching on Disney Plus. And there's been a couple of big releases this week. Did you happen to watch the Lego Star Wars adventure this week?
Yes, I did. It was, yeah, it was okay. That's the thing. It's perfect for kids. My wife watched it with me, and she's like, "Wow, that was dumb." And I'm like, "Yeah, but it's Lego." But she's like, "I expect better quality from Lego, Star Wars, and Disney than that." And I'm like, "But I'm like Lego Star Wars has done a lot of fun and funny things, and I laughed at times, but it was just kind of
To Yeah, it didn't feel as funny as previous ones. I feel like it stretched out too long. They would have been
yeah,
better off doing like 5 mini shorts at 5 minutes each rather than trying to make a 40 odd minute special. It didn't. I also didn't like the whole trying to connect it thing. It felt a bit forced. Literally,
yeah,
in this case, and it's like they've done it a few times. I feel like they need to like just maybe change the format a little bit.
yeah. Not really sure. The only part that really kept going is when every time Finn would reference, Obi-Wan told me to live in the moment, and everybody's like, Obi-Wan said that.
Yeah, so I that one was okay. It didn't blow me away, but it was all right. One thing that I did really enjoy this week was Prey, which is a new Predator film. It was released on Hulu in the US, Star Plus in Latin America, and on Disney Plus around the world. For me, this movie really. Did you get a chance to watch this one?
I watched. Well, I got most of the way through it, and having to take care of kids, it gets a little
Yeah.
tough at times. It's easily the second best Predator film I've ever seen. Vastly better than Predator Two, better than Predators, which was an okay film. I still enjoy the first one, but I would argue for substance in the you know you know, it's kind of got the Top Gun thing to it where, Top Gun Maverick is probably actually a better film because Top Gun focused more on the style over substance in the 80s. Kind of the same thing. The first Predator probably focused more on style over substance while Prey focused on the substance. So Prey may be a better film, but I feel like Predator is the one people are going to enjoy more.
To me, it was like it took me back to watching the first one, and it had the feel of them being hunted and hunting.
Yeah.
It was that the whole thing of the mixing. I I really enjoyed it. It really surprised. I mean, it looked amazing. I like in some ways like having it, with set back in time, simplifying everything. It was about them trying to outwit each other and her using the technology again. And I just enjoyed it. I just thought it was a really, really good action film. And it was that kind of thing. Oh, they could have this, and I think it's caught everyone off guard because everything I've been reading online, everyone's going, "This is really good.
Yeah.
This is a really good film." And I think people are like weren't expecting it. Like they were kind of, "Oh, well, it's gone straight to streaming. It'll be rubbish." Like, no, this is better than all the other sequels.
Yeah. And the less said about the two where they tried to mix them with Alien, the better. But yeah, no, it was a lot of fun. Fun. It was very entertaining.
Yeah, no, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty cool. Also, we had the finale of Orville. So that one dropped on Thursday. It's coming to all three seasons are coming to Disney Plus next week on Wednesday. Have you had have you been watching the third season?
No, honestly, I've never actually seen an episode of the Orville. I was excited for it when I saw the ads when they first came out, and then I just never got around to actually being able to watch it. And so at a certain point, I'm kind of like, I'm just going to wait till it ends and then go through it. I've heard from people because I do love Star Trek. They're like, this is the most proper Star Trek show, is how they a lot of them have described it. And I'm like, I don't,
Yeah.
I have no problem believing that, looking at the current state of Star Trek, but at the same time, Star Trek kind of has the Star Wars thing where no matter what you do, some people are going to love it, some people are going to hate it, and then you've got a lot of people in between that are just happy to have new content.
For me now that the Orville's over, I'm going to jump into the Strange New Worlds because I've been hearing some good stuff about that one.
That
But
one's
yeah, Orville is kind of a bit of an odd one because the whole three seasons are going to drop on in the US. So this is going to give this one a really good audience now. Like this is a perfect time for you to go. You've got 3 new seasons. You can jump in.
Yep.
The first season kind of is a little bit more wobbly because obviously with Seth in it, there's a little bit more humor in it. And I think if you're going in expecting it to be like Family Guy, you're well off. He's not going down that line. It's basically like Star Trek Next Generation, but there's a little bit of humor with it. And as the seasons go on, I mean, especially season 3, there is barely any humor. It plays it straight.
Mhm.
It plays it like, but there's a warmth to the characters because they feel normal. They talk normal. They talk about feelings. They talk about getting drunk. There's a kind of thing of, them living on a spaceship, and it's not a utopia. And
Right.
they take on some serious subjects as well. Honestly, it's a fantastic. I only watched it this year. I was a late person to it. It's only really they added the first 2 seasons on Disney Plus, and I knew the 3rd season was coming on. So I thought, I'll give it a go. Totally loved it. I binged through seasons 1 and 2, and then so I only started watching it this year, but I'm in the renew it for a 4th season kind of thing territory now, because it's just a really good show, and I'm so glad it's coming to Disney Plus so more people can see it, because I think it's kind of fell in this like sliding weird thing of like, well, it's got Seth in it, so it's a comedy and it's stupid. It's like, and like it's slowly become one of the best sci-fi series.
I think people thought it was going to be Galaxy Quest, the TV show, when it first came out, which I would not complain about, but
yeah. It's a definite. So I'm going to definitely recommend that to you and anybody else that's not watching. If you like, the Star Trek series, give that one a go. We've also had Only Murders in the Building. This one's been rolling everywhere. I know you've been watching this one. What are your thoughts on this series so far?
Oh, I love this series. This is one of my favorite one that's on Hulu right now. Even the episodes that don't miss so much that you can't enjoy them. I loved learning more about Mabel's father, who we've vaguely heard about so far, and also I love the relationship introspective at Theo and Teddy, since despite the fact they were the red herring of the first season. I'm interested to see what happens, and I'm really interested because Theo does not actually seem like he's a bad guy. I know they're like, you killed Zoe, but when they actually showed it, it's like she fell during an argument. He didn't push her.
No.
I'm interested to see what they do with Theo, because they seem to be making him more interesting.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying the series. It's fun, isn't it? It's quirky. It's something different. I'm really enjoying it. I'll be honest, I have got this. I've tried to like resist the urge, because Disney have sent me the last couple of episodes to watch, but I can't. I don't want to watch it because I don't want to ruin it. Because it's that one of those things, like, this is a show that you kind of, like, if I'm talking to you or to James, it's like, if I know where it's going, I'm not going to slip up. So if I don't watch it, I can't do it. So I'm really enjoying this. It's for Tuesday mornings, fire up Disney Plus and jump straight into it. It's just such a good show. It is great.
I usually watch it with my wife together Tuesday nights after I get home from work and the kids go to bed. We sit down and we watch it.
Anything else you've been watching on Disney Plus recently?
I just started The Bear recently. So far it has not been what I was expecting, because it's got the guy who was in Shameless, and it was built up kind of like Shameless set in a restaurant or in a deli, but it's not been too much like Shameless. But the first episode was very intriguing. So.
Yeah, I know it's. I think it's just launched in Canada on Disney Plus. I don't know when it's coming, and it's coming in Australia to Disney Plus at the end of the month. I don't know when it's coming in the UK. I'm really looking forward to the series. Having worked as I had a cafe, so it's not quite the same level, but I've worked in the kitchens for years. So I'm kind of interested to see where this one goes. And I've heard nothing but good things about that one. So I'm looking forward to watching it when it drops. I've also been carrying on. I've just got a few more episodes left of the second season of Big Sky, because we're getting new episodes weekly. Did you watch that show? What did you think of that one?
I did not watch Big Sky, so I need to try to get into that one. From the people I know who watch it, it sounds like something I would definitely be interested in. I just got to find the time.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting, because I was saying this with my wife the other day, of like, there's so much television out now, isn't there, of like trying to pick the good stuff, and it's like you don't actually have enough time sometimes to watch all the different ones, and obviously we focus on the Disney stuff and the Star originals. My wife knows, and like going, yeah, we need to watch that. I mean, I literally just finished off Blackish season 8 just before we jumped on here, so that's been what I've been binging through since that dropped on the UK. I'm slowly working our way through Under the Banner of Heaven. We're up to episode 4 or something like that.
Before, so yeah, there's 7. We just finished that recently over here as well. Very very heavy show. It was very difficult for me to watch 2 episodes in a night because of the content was so heavy, but it was done so well.
We're loving it. We're loving it, but we watch one episode and we will then wait a couple of days before we watch another episode because, as you said, it's too heavy to watch back to back. But amazing series. I mean, I'm really enjoying that one. I'm also looking forward to The Old Man because that doesn't come to the UK until the end of September on Disney Plus.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to starting that one soon as well.
Yeah, it's just great. Have you been watching anything else on Disney Plus lately?
I've been going through the animated movies with my son in order. We're up to, I think, Lilo and Stitch next. So started with Snow White and just going through them. Some have been great. Some have been terrible. Some have been better than I thought they were. That I've always heard that they weren't good. And then I was like, oh, wait, they were good. And then some of the classics did not hold up as well as they think they should. So
yeah. It's funny, I think as well. I think like in general, like with movies and series, sometimes we put them in like a nostalgia bubble, and we remembering we liked them when we were kids, and then you watch them later on, and okay, and it's funny when you watch a movie that you've not seen, and you don't have the nostalgia goggles for it, and you go, yeah. And I'm sure a lot of people go back and watch stuff and go, oh, this isn't as like how I remember. It's like, no, because your mind kind of made it better than it was. I definitely feel like that one. Okay, well, on that note, guys, thank you very much for joining us this week on an episode of the What's on Disney Plus podcast. Tomorrow on Sunday, I'll be doing my live Q&A as per usual on YouTube, and we'll be back throughout the week with new videos with all the latest Disney Plus news. And obviously, again, we'll be back next week with James. But actually, I'm just going to ask before we go off, so what are your... And this is going to take you completely off. What are your predictions for the D23 Disney Plus weekend? What are you thinking? What do you think they're going to announce? Because me and James are going to do this. We're going to do this in like a week or two's time. So I thought, actually, well, I'm just going to get you and get your predictions before we go.
What they are probably going to announce. I would have said some of the Marvel stuff that they literally just announced at Comic-Con if they hadn't have done that. I figure they're going to work in probably some series, more details on some of those movies or series that they haven't released yet. I gotta figure you're going to get some other Star Wars shows and probably an update on the Taika Waititi movie because I think that's the first movie they're releasing in a while. And I'm willing to bet probably some more Pixar with we know they're going through we saw Baymax and we got Cars on the Road, and I know they still got Zootopia Plus, so maybe we'll actually get a look at that one.
There's actually there's gonna be a little panel one evening about 6 o'clock. There's gonna be a special sneak peek of that one. So I'm planning on heading towards that one. But no, it's definitely like with the Marvel stuff. It's going to be interesting how all this comes together. Especially this week with Oscar Isaac's showing himself in Cairo. The chances of them announcing Moon Knight season 2, I think, just went sky high with him saying.
I think they got to do a second season because the ending of that one felt a little rushed, trying to fit the 6 episodes. They did so well right up until that ending, and you're just like, you've set up so much and you only have this amount of time to finish it.
It's funny, I was saying this to some friends the other day. I felt like that Moon Knight it could have done with an extra episode or 2 just to kind of flush it out a little bit. Well, on that note, guys, thank you very much for taking time out to watch or listen to this podcast, and we shall see you guys soon. Later. Thank you very much for watching this video. Make sure you go check us out over at whatsondisneyplus.com. Like, follow, and subscribe. Also, a huge thank you to all of our supporters over on Patreon and also on our YouTube channel memberships. And I shall see you guys in another video. Laters.